They say your wedding day is supposed to be the happiest day of your life. For most people, it's filled with joy, love, tears of happiness, but not for me. My wedding day was the day everything fell apart. Or, maybe it was the day I finally took control of my own life. Because what they tried to do to me, I turned into the moment I stood the strongest. This is the story of how my sister betrayed me. And how I responded, with grace, clarity, and a secret that no one saw coming. My sister and I are just 2 years apart. From the outside, people always said we were lucky, 2 beautiful daughters, always together, always smiling. But what they didn't see was the imbalance, the constant comparison. She was the radiant one. The one who walked into a room and drew every pair of eyes. I was the quiet one, the thoughtful one, always watching, always listening. She knew how to manipulate people from a young age, teachers, boys, even our parents. And somehow, no matter what happened, I was the one who had to understand her. To forgive her. To be the bigger person. I learned early that love could be one-sided. That sometimes family doesn't protect you, they overshadow you. And I accepted that, for years. Even when she dated the boy I had a crush on in high school. Even when she wore my clothes without asking. Even when she read my journal out loud at a party in front of everyone. I still defended her. Because that's what sisters do, right? I met Ethan when I wasn't looking for anyone. It was at a community book club. He was there with his niece. He was calm, intelligent, funny in a soft way, not loud or boastful like the men my sister usually chased. He noticed things. Asked real questions. Remembered what I said. We started talking after the 3rd meeting. Then coffee. Then dinner. Then weekends together. And for the first time I felt seen. Not compared. Not measured. Just loved. A year later, he proposed under the stars on a quiet beach. He held my hand, looked me in the eyes, and said, "You're everything I didn't know I needed." I cried. Of course I did. It was perfect. I told my sister the next day. She smiled, too big. Too forced. Finally, she said, "I was starting to worry you'd end up a cat lady." I laughed it off. I didn't want drama. I just wanted her to be happy for me. She offered to help plan the wedding, which at first seemed like a blessing. She had a great sense of style, and I was already overwhelmed with work and vendors and guest lists. But she got too involved, too fast. She changed the bridesmaid dresses without asking. She booked a makeup artist I hadn't approved. And she kept showing up at Ethan's apartment when I wasn't there. At first, I told myself it was fine. She was helping. She was trying. But Ethan started acting different. He'd get flustered when I mentioned her name. He'd hide his phone when I walked into the room. And once, when I came over unannounced, I found them sitting way too close on the couch, laughing, whispering. When I asked him about it, he brushed it off. "She's just your sister," he said. "She's trying to bond with me." But something in my gut twisted. 2 weeks before the wedding, I couldn't sleep. I had this gnawing feeling that something was wrong. So I did something I never thought I would. I hired a private investigator. I didn't tell anyone, not even my best friend. I just needed clarity. Proof. Because I couldn't walk down the aisle with doubt in my chest. What he found destroyed me. Photos. Messages. Hotel bookings. They had been sneaking around behind my back for over 4 months. My sister. My fiancé. Together. The worst part? In one message, she wrote. Asterisk, just hold on. Once she's out of the picture, we'll be free. Asterisk. That night, I sat alone in my apartment with every light off. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just thought. And then I made a plan. I went through the motions as if everything were fine. The dress. The hair. The photos. My sister stood beside me, smiling like she had already won. Ethan kissed my cheek as we posed for pictures. No one knew what I knew. When I walked down the aisle, it wasn't nerves I felt, it was strength. When I reached the altar, I looked into Ethan's eyes, and for a moment, I almost pitied him. He thought he'd fooled me. The officiant began. Everything blurred until the moment came. Asterisk, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? Asterisk. I took a deep breath. I turned to face the crowd. And I said, no. But I think my sister might want to. Gasps. Silence. Eyes widening. I pulled out the envelope and handed it to Ethan. Since you two like to share everything, maybe you can read these messages out loud. Then, I walked away. In my wedding dress. Out the church doors. Into the sunlight. Free. That night, I checked into a hotel and ordered champagne. Alone, yes. But not broken. I donated all the wedding food to a local shelter. Sold the dress. Cancelled the honeymoon flights, and booked a solo trip instead. To Greece. I'd always wanted to go. My phone rang nonstop. Apologies. Justifications. Tears. But I didn't answer a single call. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was done. My sister and Ethan? They lasted 2 months. He cheated on her with someone else. She moved to another state. But that's not the point. This story isn't about revenge. It's about freedom. Sometimes, the people you love the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do isn't to fight, or scream, or even try to make them understand. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is walk away. With your head high. With your heart intact. And with a life that finally belongs to you. Because I chose myself. And I've never looked back.